Leave World at War alone! No, but seriously, this masterpiece deserves to be left alone. I have a bad feeling that whenever Call of Duty starts to tank in sales or begin to show some sort of decline, they'll just return back to the glory days and just remaster an old classic. To be fair, it's easy money. I can wholeheartedly say I'd be a sucker and fall for it if they were to do it to World at War. When you look back at the COD 4 remaster, that actually was quite good, I thought. But with the existing series being continued and continued and continued, it's like a never-ending loop, and you can see the creativity struggling more and more each time. This is why I feel if they were to touch World at War, it would just end up ruined, pretty much. Not to mention the fact that they would destroy this game with a billion microtransactions, and whilst this game portrays a brutal and dark representation of World War II, no doubt that Treyarch and Activision would somehow add in some futuristic alien skin in a spacesuit wearing a flower power backpack and charge $69.99 for it. The OG World at War had no camos for weapons, but you just know that there will be some moving leopard print camo with about 26 attachments on it shooting rainbow bullets. At least the Wunderwaffe was believable within the time. Bring back making your own emblems too. That's what I say. The game seemed so much easier, you know, there was limited attachments, you didn't have all this choice, and I do think ultimately having too much choice does just become too confusing, it's bombarding. You don't just sit down and relax to play the game. It's more of a case now where you have to, you know, look online and research for the best guns. You look at all these stats and all the attachments, and that's not what a game is. You should be on a game to just have fun. And that isn't, especially with the newer CODs, that isn't fun. If anything, make World at War 2, where it showcases a different frontier of combat during the Second World War. That way the original isn't tarnished or affected, right? Make it about D-Day, or if you wanted to cover some unique battles like the Italian and French resistance, the Battle of Britain, Dunkirk, Battle of Arnhem, even the Chinese fighting the Japanese, there's loads. There's so much potential to make great games, but it's clearly obvious that these big companies don't want to take any risks with making a new title. It's safe and it's easy to sell, but when people begin to argue that there isn't much creativity in this new gen of games, I'd say they're right. No game really stands out anymore. Whilst remasters can sometimes be a good thing, I honestly believe that certain games should be left alone, and this one would be one of them. This was released back in November 2008, and they were not scared to go to town for this game. I mean, it was pretty dark and almost like a horror game. Nowadays, with political correctness and all of that jazz, I don't think a remaster would even touch the sides of the original. It would be considered too graphic, but that's what made this game amazing. Do you remember the cutscenes between each mission, the animation and the narration? Iconic. I mean, you literally had legitimate archived World War II footage of Japanese soldiers shooting people right from the start. And that set the tone because you was like, wow. I feel that maybe the devs would potentially alter World War II history just to fit in with the remastered storyline. And for me, I don't want it to feel more cinematic or modernised. No Michael Bay movie type scenes. I just want the raw, gritty and educational aspect of this part of history. Is it just me, or do you guys feel the same? The actual gameplay and mechanics from World at War was so good too. One word to define it is classic. It was a classic first-person shooter. The movement was easy to understand and not too clunky. All was smooth. No failure to load, textures or slow rendering. I'm not sure about you, but if they were to remaster this game, for argument's sake, I get the impression it would be clunky as hell. They'd probably include slide cancelling, dolphin diving, just everyone jumping around the place. And that's not what World at War is. Can you imagine if it ended up like Vanguard? Man, that was absolutely shocking. We have the Warzone issue, which was amazing in 2020 with Verdansk, but it's clearly run its course now. it seems that every Call of Duty they'll be releasing will always include an element of Warzone. How would it hold up in World at War? Not that good, if I'm honest. Classic functions like the slower paced gameplay, rugged environments and minimalistic HUD would more than likely be overshadowed to appeal to a Warzone focused audience. I don't think it would suit the theme. Although it would be really good to see a large World War II based map, we sort of got that from Vanguard previously, and both of them didn't feel like a World War II map at all. It seems like now, in order for Warzone to function, it needs to be fast paced. When it originally came out, it worked fine because there was teamwork involved and communication, not slide cancelling in and out for a door while stimming and spraying from the hip. It wouldn't suit. One thing I'd only want to see is maybe how it would look in 2025 with all updated graphics. Like, imagine doing the Pelelu beach landing mission with an updated game engine, sound design, atmosphere. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I just feel the COD community has been divided and all over the place for a good number of years now. Probably since Black Ops 2, maybe? Everyone was just on board and excited all together to play the new games, which were at the time all-time greats. The period from the first Call of Duty to Black Ops 2, this is my opinion by the way, let me know what you guys think, but I believe that was the peak time to be part of the COD community. Would a remaster appeal to new players? Possibly, but it's the original generation of players which will know that if this is a total cash grab, it will ruin this game's legacy even more, to be honest, because it hasn't been great lately, has it? As I mentioned earlier on, it would invite a lot of the original players back, but what if they were, for example, to shut down the original World at War servers so you were forced to play the remaster? I know they haven't done it yet with COD 4, but as much as it sinks my stomach, it may come to a point where they have to turn off the servers, but hopefully not. Another point to bring up is the nostalgia and the original experience the game gave you. As a young boy who was new to the Xbox 360, this game held a special place in my heart. It gave me so many memories, and if they were to potentially remaster it, for me, it would feel in a way ruined. I keep using that word because I can't think of any other word to describe it, but especially if they did such a poor job. The dated graphics and mechanics are part of its charm, so don't try and improve on perfection because that's what it was at the time. Perfection. This game first introduced the infamous zombies mode along with some of the most iconic zombie maps in COD history. Seeing what zombies has become now, can you imagine if they started doing all of that with the classics? The early version is beloved for what it is, not necessarily for what it could be. I do think collectively we should all try and value older games in their original form because some games are best left as relics of their time. Remasters can sometimes take away the authenticity and the feeling of playing a game from a different time period. So please, don't give Call of Duty World at War a remaster. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to drop a like and a comment, and to be kept up to date with future videos, make sure you subscribe. Thank you for watching. Cheerio.